Shields up, Paladins, and welcome to a For Honor Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you all about the Gladiator and how I like to use this particular character. The Gladiator is one of the assassin characters within the Knight faction. He has an easy difficulty rating, as well as he is a stamina preserver plus mix-up intensive. His base stats are his health is set to 120, his stamina is set to 160, and his sprint speed is set to 2.4 milliseconds. With all this being said done, let's go ahead and jump right on over to his feats. His tier 1 feats are Iron Lungs, which is a passive ability. You still can sprint when out of stamina. Bounty Hunter, which is a passive ability. Gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. And Deadly, which is a passive ability. Attacks deal slightly more damage every 3 seconds. His tier 2 feats are Righteous Deflection, which is a passive ability. Parry to gain high damage reduction for a short time. Haymaker, which is a passive ability. Punches, kicks, and throws now deal damage. And Revenge Attacks, which is another passive ability. Successful attacks while locked on fill the revenge meter. His tier 3 feats are Pugna Mortis, throw an explosive that deals moderate damage in an area. Neptune's Wrath, which is throw a trident for moderate damage. And Voladores, which is a projectile that deals low damage and traps an enemy for a short time. And then finally his tier 4 feats, which is Fear itself. Nearby enemies have lower defenses. Catapult. Call a catapult strike to deal massive damage over an area, and Roar the Crowd, which is greatly raise your attack and sprint stats. So, the particular perks that I really like to use on the Gladiator in this particular sense, for his tier 1, of course, I like to use Bounty Hunter. You gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. That's great. As an assassin, the more health and the more stamina you can get back, while, of course, if you're playing on Dominion or Breach without having to run back to the healing zone, is the best thing for you. Iron Lungs, yeah, I rarely see people use that, and sometimes I see some people use Deadly, but the reason why you would want Bounty Hunter over Deadly is that Deadly only boosts your attacks just by a little bit, not by much anymore. And it's only for every 3 seconds. You know, every 3 seconds seems like a pretty big gap. Or if people are not realizing it, you know, you might be able to get, so if you're doing your light, I think he's got like a 5 light combo. It's pretty much every third, or like you got the first light, 3 seconds pass, and it'll be the third or fourth light. You're right after that, you know, so it's really not that important, not that good in my opinion anymore. Back then it used to be constant. Right now, since they put an every 3 second count on it, I would say Bounty Hunter would be his pick for the tier 1 feats. Now, he's got a couple different ones you could use on the tier 2, and my personal opinion is that since he is so mix-up intensive, that you can go with a cheap shot, which you can go with a skewer, then the throw into the wall, you know, just so many different types of combos that he can do that involves either hitting you with his buckler, or throwing you, or even doing the toe stab for that matter. Haymaker counts for all of that. And since he has so much going as in that route, I would say Haymaker is the guaranteed pick for his tier 2. Now, some people, I have seen some people use Righteous Deflection, you know, and during that game that we were playing, you know, I rarely saw them go for any deflects. If they did get one, you know, it was maybe once out of every blue moon. You know, it was very, very rare to see them get an actual deflect. Whenever you can see, you know, punches, kicks, and throws now deal damage, which is great. Revenge attacks, again, that's, I would say, is completely useless, as as soon as you pop revenge, everyone's backing up and just watching you stay there in revenge, so there's really no point in having that. So tier 2, I would say, is Haymaker. Now tier 3, I've seen a lot of people use actually everything for tier 3, but what I like to use is the Paladins, simply because with that you can either get you can actually knock them out of stamina with that, if they are low enough. And of course, as you all know, I usually like to play with Lost whenever I'm on For Honor, so he's either maybe the Centurion or the Jormungandr or someone like that. So pinning someone just for a short amount of time to allow him, maybe even as the Centurion, to get that full charge with the uppercut to go into Eagle's Talon. You know, that would be, that right there is a great combo just in itself with using one feat. Even with the Jormungandr, you know, maybe that's enough to get them out of stamina. Boom, the Jormungandr get that to get that out of stamina punishment. The one thing I would say between the Jormungandr and the Gladiator is that the Gladiator, you have to really watch out for him, simply because compared to the Jormungandr, as soon as he hits you, boom, you've got full stamina, so to see. But when the Gladiator hits you, you still do not have stamina. That's something that you have to watch out for, specifically whenever someone uses a Paladins. Pugnum Mortis, again, is good. I've seen many Gladiators use it. Neptune's Wrath, again, right there. I've seen a lot of Gladiators use it. I think Neptune's Wrath does now 50 damage, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not too sure on that. So, really, tier 3, user's choice, but I prefer Paladins over anything. His tier 4. Tier 4 is kind of interesting. I use Fear itself. Lust and I actually had a conversation about this between Roar of the Crowd and Fear itself, which would be more useful. And we've decided that Fear itself is going to be more useful, simply because, 1, it lasts longer. 2, everyone that's around you is now punished by Fear itself, which lowers their defenses, which is great. That means they take more damage. On top of that, you know, you're also doing more damage to the big guy, because he does get affected by that. So everyone around you is being affected. Someone can throw in either a Pugnum Mortis or a Fire Flask or something like that, and it's going to hurt everybody. You know, it's going to hurt everyone pretty good. Roar of the Crowd, even though that it does raise your attack and sprint stats pretty good, it just don't last long. You know, it's might be a 5-second thing compared to Fear itself, which is right around 10. A 10-second cooldown or cast time on it. Again, Catapult right now is, even though that it does a lot of damage, but right now it is, at this day of age within For Honor, it is almost best not to even run Catapult, simply because it takes too long to call in from the sound and from the circle that appears on the ground once you see that it's coming in. It's easily to be dodged and everything like that. So that's the reason why I would say Catapult is not a good idea. Now, I have seen people use Roar of the Crowd, but as I just said, Fear itself would be better in the long run. You would be able to get more damage downrange. And that's why I will go with Fear itself over anything. The perks that you can have, Devour, Endurance, Headhunter, will all be great. Galestorm could also be a substitute to one of those as well, if you wanted to, but those would be the 4 perks that I would go with on the Gladiator, if anything. So now, with all that being said and done, I'm going to go talk about its hero, or the Gladiator's hero-specific movesets. Now, on the screen, you will see what the game is teaching you in the hero tactics for the Gladiator. While you're seeing all the nice little combos up on the screen, I'm going to talk about pretty much what you can and cannot get with the Gladiator here with his hero specifics. So, renown is earn more renown in 1v1 fights by killing enemy heroes and getting kill streaks to unlock your feats in a match. Pretty simple. Revenge mode boosts damage and health. All attacks are uninterruptible. Parries and throws knock down enemies. Attacks are auto parried upon activation. Defense, which is a reflex. Your guard stance only remains active for a limited time. Since he is an assassin, that's the reason why he has a reflex. Improved stamina. He has a larger stamina pool along with the accompanying faster stamina regen that lets the Gladiator regen stamina at the same proportion as other heroes. So that is something that you have to keep in mind, specifically whenever you're playing other assassins. You know, they might get a little bit of a punish for that, where the Gladiator does not. Deflect, you can deflect by dodging in the direction of the incoming attack just before impact. Deflect can be followed up with a skewer deflect. Zone attack, cancel zone attack after hitting the first attack with circle, since we are on PS4. Bamboozle, press square, since we are on the PS4. After missing your first sprint attack, to throw a punch that stuns the opponent. You got the Fuchsia Ictus, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, finisher. The Fuchsia Ictus can be initiated from neutral or during any other chain, or after any other chain attack, including finishers. This particular attack will also end any chain. So now you have the special Fuchsia Ignis, which uses, or when used, an enemy who's out of stamina. Pretty much, okay. This is the toe stab, is what they're talking about. The toe stab will then make them unbalanced and fall. So that is the Fuchsia Ignis is the toe stab. So the skewer can only be performed during or after the end of a chain. The long skewer is held for the greater bleed damage. You can cancel the skewer. To exit skewer early, press circle on the PS4, or by dodging by pressing X on the PS4. You can throw people while they are skewered. Skewer functions like a guard break, allowing the Gladiator to throw an enemy while the enemy is being skewered. You cannot throw targets after bleed has been applied all 3 times. Now that throw plus Haymaker does count, so keep that in mind. Plus the skewer plus Haymaker, it does a little bit more damage, so also keep that in mind. The skewer punch, when the target of skewer has our back against the wall, the skewer throw forward against the wall will instead become a punch by the Gladiator, stunning the target just like skewer throw. Skewer punch cannot be used when bleed has been applied 3 times. Again, all that they're saying plus that, or all that there plus Haymaker gives you a little extra damage. And then finally, chain starters, which is crowd pleaser and bee sting, function as light attack openers. And that's pretty much the Gladiator every set of the way. The Gladiator is one of the characters that I would say he's definitely a good assassin if you know how to use him, if you know how to get your feint game good. There has been plenty of assassins or plenty of gladiators that I've seen go up against many good players, as in Jormungandr for one for the stamina management. JJ is another, just again for a stamina management character, and overcome them, just by either out-feinting them, getting in their mind and doing whatever. And that's what the Gladiator is right now. He is a huge mind game character. Remember, you have your toe stab that does a good amount of damage, and then you have have your skewer into a wall. But he's a huge mind game character, and that's the great thing about him. So hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, and concerns about the Gladiator. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment down below. If not, I will see you all within the next video. Stay awesome, guys.